Hello everyone, this is Melanie from Melanie B's Creative Studio and Supplies. I know I have not been around for a long time. There's a reason for that. I am currently displaced from my home after a 6-year-long battle with my siblings who sued me for the house that I built on my parents' property 28 years ago. So I'm living in a 20-foot camper. So I'm just going to go ahead and apologize in advance for this crazy camera angle and this reflection because I'm only able to use one light. I appreciate you guys refraining from any negative comments because it's really not necessary, especially when I'm fully aware of the conditions that I'm having to record in. So welcome everyone else who is here for the right reasons and wants to learn about some amazing products that I have recently found and want to share with you guys. So the company I'm bringing you today is Cate Paper Company. This is an artist, illustrator who designs her own products. I think I related to her because she did exactly what I originally wanted to do when I did my digital kits. She made a printable version and included the paints and everything else. So this first kit I want to show you is what I intended when I made Melanie's B Artistic printable paint by number kit. So I'm going to start with this one and then I'm going to move on to the other 5 items that I have for you today. And I'm going to try to move quickly. I know it may not be easy, but let's just get started. So I thought this was a neat little idea. The insert that comes in the packaging has a little place for your water cup and your paint pots. This kit has 3 different paintings, and the paintings in this kit are tropical florals. This is one of them, and these are the other 2. They've also included 3 printed paint by number outlines for us. Now you can see I've already started on this one. And I'm going to tell you what has me so extremely excited about these kits is the paint. So I don't know what they've done, but the paint in these kits, it is sorcery. It is like Harry Potter wizardry. And it also comes with 2 paintbrushes, which of course I have not used because I have my own. So if you can see, the texture of the paper is lovely. And each painting is 8 by 10. And the paints that are included will go with all 3 paint by numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and just set this one aside. And I am going to show you the swatches for this kit because I've swatched these paints on another swatch guide with another kit that I'm going to show you next. This one has 2 canvas kits. I'm going to go ahead and take out the components. I have already done one of the paintings. I know, that never happens. This is what happens when I don't have a business to run because all I have right now on my website are digital products. I mean, it's insane, right? You can see these are the 2 designs that are in this kit, which I thought were stinking precious. They're very stylized designs, which I'm kind of obsessed with right now. Y'all know I love all of these designs. I mean, honestly, you show me something, I'm going to love it probably. But I do love the fact that the one that I finished only took me a couple of days. So again, we have our insert. I have both of the photo references printed on this really nice quality glossy cardstock. My gosh, let me just pull this stuff out. I really hate not having space. And then I have the canvas panel. Now you'll notice these lines are very dark. That is the only thing that I might not love so much. But Cate's paint, and I don't know this woman. I don't know why I called her Cate, like, oh, we just like besties. But the paint is so nice that it wasn't difficult to cover these dark numbers and lines as much as you would think. And I did end up doing a thick layer on my other design because I wanted it to be very textured, but I really didn't have to. I did clear gesso both of these canvas panels before I started just because that is me. Let me show you the palette, which is beautiful. This kit's called Red, White, and Bloom. And here's the swatch for this kit and the other Tropical Florals kit. And I did paint it on an inkjet printable canvas, and I'll link you to this in the description below because this is what I use with my digital swatch guides that I have at my website, and those are still available. You can see how flippin' delicious, and I don't mean edible, but how wonderful the coverage is with this paint. Like, it is beautiful. This is not prepped with gesso at all. I did use white here just to cover up the numbers that were already on here because I don't have a printer here in this camper. And so I didn't have the ability to print one of my non-numbered guides. So I just went over it with white paint. The coverage is just really beautiful. And I love the texture. So let me show you my finished project. And it is just beautiful. I'm so proud of it. And the fact that I completed something is just, for me, remarkable. Anybody that knows me knows I never have time. Not only did I have time, but I actually had the desire to complete it. The paint was just so amazing to work with that it brought me happiness and joy. So I'll turn it sideways. I'm hoping I can get it to fit in the camera. But I want to show you the little bit of depth and dimension that I used with this paint because it's very thick. I don't know if you can see that. I might try to add a few photos to give you a little better idea of that texture. What I do want to do is open up one of these paint pots and show you the consistency of this paint because it is a heavy body and it is just dreamy to work with. And I'm using my #1 flat brush. It's just got a great thickness to it, but it also moves so nicely. And I know some of you will not believe this. I added no flow aid while I was painting. Not one drop of flow aid was to be had. So then after I added, let's say I went, like you can see, that's a really nice, neat swatch. Anyway, so what I did is like I'd put down my first layer and I would allow it to dry because acrylic paint just kind of goes and shrinks up and you're like, wait a minute, I thought I put a thick layer. So you go back later and you're like, okay, I didn't. So I let it dry. Then I'd go back and I'd take like this little scoop of paint and I kind of just pat it down and give it dimension, and it gives me that great texture that I want. And it made those little flower buds stand off of my painting. So it really held that texture and dimension very nicely. But now on these swatches, that's just one layer. I just love it. Love, love, love. Okay, so let's move on to the other kits. So this kit is for my artists who like to step outside their comfort zone just a little bit and don't always stick to just paint by number kits, okay? So this is a painting kit that is Impressionist style. This one's called Abstract Roses, and it's going to include everything you need to paint your own Impressionist artwork, okay? Which basically is what it says right here. So let's just go ahead and open this one up. I'm going to get everything out. We're going to discuss what this one is. So first, let me just say things like this fill me with so much happiness and joy. I can't even explain it. So much that I've placed a couple of wholesale orders for this company. The first order I placed was for a sample of these kits. So I have like this one for me to demonstrate and to test for myself. And then I bought one extra. And then one extra of the red, white, and bloom. And then I bought one extra of the tropical flowers. And then one extra of the next thing you're going to see. And 25 extra of the next two things you're going to see. Okay? So I hope you're as excited about those things as I am. But this is so cool. And I'm hoping to come back and do a video on me painting this because I've never done it. Okay? So I'm hoping that by painting it and showing you how it works as a person who's never done it, that I can show you that it can be done, all right? And to also show you not to be intimidated by it. If people are interested in me carrying this product, then I will get more than one extra to put in my store for when I open back up. That is something that I need you viewers right now to let me know as you're watching this video. If any of these products appeal to you, please drop a comment and tell me which ones you are interested in and more like those, so that I will know if there's something you want to see in the future at my store. Okay? Please do. In this kit, you're going to get the paperwork, and this includes the instructions on how to paint this kit. This is what I'm going to use when I do this video. It's going to discuss step by step what we need to do. I'm curious to see if I could follow the written instructions and do it just based on this and with my little bit of knowledge of painting up until now and art background and whatever. Okay, next in the kit, this is what's got me excited. Now, I have not tested this particular set of paints, but when you see what I have over there, you'll know why I'm excited about these. So this kit comes with 12 tubed paints, and there is 12 milliliter in each one, which is almost a half an ounce. So if you noticed, this kit doesn't require all of these colors. You're going to have all this extra paint. Hello, beautiful quality paints. I don't want this video to be 100 hours long, but I really want to swatch these paints. Next, we have our size 10 flat brush and our size 2 flat brush. Now, I will be using these flat brushes for painting this set. I know I have my own line of paintbrushes, but these look very nice, and I'm excited about these particular brushes, especially the size 10 flat brush. And in the future, Melanie B will have larger flat brushes, but she does not now. So she needs to use this one. All right. And y'all, a beautiful wooden palette. Like, this looks like bamboo. I mean, I don't know, but I'm gonna pretend like this is bamboo and feel schmancy about this. But hello, beautiful. My gosh. Yes, I'm feeling all kind of like, I got a bamboo wooden palette. All right, moving on. And here is our canvas panel with our grayscale underpainting on there for us to paint this Impressionist painting. Super duper excited. Now, Cate Paper Company does not have a ton of designs yet. I think this is a fairly new company within the last couple of years, so maybe there's going to be more. I don't know, but wait till you see what I have. So here we go. It's a palette knife painting kit. And let me pull out all of the supplies. Okay, so we have Mountain Valley is going to be our project for this kit. And once again, we have our instructions and everything we need to complete this particular project. We have the entire range of paints again. So another 12 tubes of paint. 2 palette knives, which I'm just going to assume are going to be sufficient for what we're going to need to paint with palette knives. I'm so freaking excited. Once again, this is a kit that I want to come back and do another video on to show you, first of all, whether I can do this or not, but for you to see whether you think you can do this or not. There are a couple other designs for the palette knife painting kits. And again, I would like to be able to carry these kits at my store. If this is something you guys want to see, please drop a comment. Let me know. Another beautiful wooden palette and our grayscale on a canvas panel. So the next 2 items are sold separately, but I kind of want to show them to you together because I feel like they are the perfect partners, like peanut butter and jelly. So here is the most incredible set of tubed paints I think I've tried that are affordable. I'm so completely impressed with this set of acrylic paints that I've actually already ordered 25 sets to carry in my online store that isn't selling physical products, because I'm willing to sell physical products just to get these in your hands. If that tells you anything, that I haven't figured out where the hell I'm going to store these to sell them out of my tiny, teeny, weeny, weeny, whiny little camper. But when I tried these, I said, my people need these in their lives, okay? So the colors are gorgeous. I will just show you. I think I'm just going to have to show you for you to understand what I mean, all right? So having said that, this other thing is so unique that I said perfect partners. And so let me just shut the hell up. Okay. This is called a paint by number Botanicals book. And Cate of Cate Paper Company, her real name is Catherine Guadalajara. I don't know her last name. I can't pronounce it. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but it's oh my God. This right here. My maiden name is Ball, B-A-L-L, like bowling ball, like soccer ball, like basketball. Y'all, I don't have a name like this. And I live in the South, okay? Anyway, Catherine G is the author and the illustrator of this book, okay? It has 30 paintable outlines on premium perforated art paper. So now you see why I was excited. Oh my God, this is so amazing. And I'm going to tell you why. Well, obviously, you know why. But the reason I got so excited when I saw this book is because I have a gazillion members on my Facebook group who will say, I'm so frustrated because I'm between paint by number kits. I'm waiting for one to come on the slow boat from China and it's not coming in and I'm sitting here with nothing to paint, and so on and so forth. So those people who are looking for something to paint, you have 30 options in this book. So it's a beautifully well done book. I need to do a video just on this book, but what's very cool about it is there's a whole bunch of crap here. I'm just kidding. That was just me being a smart ass. Okay. But here's Catherine G. So here's what's neat is that her color palette here coordinates with her paint set. But this paint set will go with any paint by number you have. Okay. And you can color mix. Yes, you can. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that negative crap. You can color mix. I know one day I need to show you how. So her custom color palette here is the same as the names on her paint set. So it makes it super easy if you are getting the book to have the paints to know exactly what color you need, okay? If you do not have the paint set, you can just match your own paints to whatever it's calling for in the book. No big deal, right? So she explains color theory and mixing, all that. Goes through with this adorable illustrated color wheel. What's amazing is that if you don't have her paints, this is what's fabulous, okay? So she tells you how to mix to get the colors that you need for the projects in this book. For example, if you need the color brick, is what she's calling this particular color here, you would need 1 part of red and 1 part of black. Mix it up, you've got brick. Super easy color mixing. I mean, that is just like a no-brainer color mixing, which for a lot of us is the way we need to do it. Okay, so now we have our color maps for each of the paint by numbers in this book. Now, keep in mind, you can get the paints and paint them, but you can also color them. You could do it however you wanted to, but I'm going to choose to paint them because, hello, paint by number content creator over here. So, do it however you want. But for example, we have our first project, we have our color palette, and let me go ahead and I'm going to show you the one I've been working on. We're just going to jump right to it because you won't believe I've actually completed another project. But in the meantime, I'm going to flip through and show you. This is the one I've done, and I've actually completed one, and I'm working on it again out of the book. So let's just thumb through. You'll notice that every single one of these paintings has a very limited color palette, and it allows for the designs to be very stylized, but they're still really beautiful. You can choose to leave them like this or blend them, which is how I did the first peach design that I completed. All right, so now is where we're going to get into our perforated pages where you can paint the paint by numbers. So here you can see the perforation. You can tear this out, and this is a very thick, very smooth textured paper. So I wasn't sure what kind of paper was going to be in here. I was also not sure how it was going to accept the acrylic paint. So here are all of the paint by numbers. So I took the one I wanted. I left it in the book, and I put it on my iPad because I don't have all my fancy schmancy tools in this camper. And I use my iPad as a light pad. I brighten up the screen, and I put a piece of Fabriano watercolor paper. It's 140-pound cold press paper over the top of this, and I traced it. And then I painted it using the acrylic paints and the tubed paint set based on the colorway map that it was giving me in the book. And this is what it looked like because I blended when I was done, and I added a little texture and whatnot. So this is the traced one. You can trace it on whatever paper you want. Then what I did is I said, well, now that I've done this version and it's blended and I'm obsessed with it, then I'm going to see how I like it painted on the paper in the book. And so this is just barely started, and I, started painting it here. And then of course I got distracted because you know me and squirrel, and I stopped. And this is probably the one color. It's actually hunter green. I like to mix it with a tiny bit of olive. And so that's when I stopped because I was like, I'm going to mix it with a little bit of olive, and I got better coverage. And that's what I was doing here. So anyway, it gives the most beautiful, smooth painted surface, and it's fabulous. That is the page from the book with the smooth texture, and that is the watercolor paper. I liked the versatility of that book. I'm going to add the prices up on the screen for the book and for the paint set at the retail price that they are now, and for each of these paint kits, because that price can change, you guys. That's if they're not on sale. That's if there's no increases. I don't like giving prices because of those reasons. You never know when increases will happen. You never know when shipping changes will happen, and those prices have to change. So these paints have already been swatched. You know that's the first thing I did. And I think my swatch guide is in this container. Now, these are very thin layers of these paints. I didn't do any thick layers like I normally would with a tubed paint. That's how I like to use tubed paints. I use tube paints out of the tube. The only time I ever use a tubed paint off of a palette is if I'm mixing it. So very rarely will you see me use it this thin, but I got great coverage with it on this swatch. Even the yellow, which is translucent, and the orange, which is zinnia and lemon, those are still translucent, which means you can still see that line, but there was still beautiful coverage for both of those. So the way I would normally use these, and I'll just show you really quickly because I really want to swatch the other set so bad. I mean, it may be the same thing, but just want to test it anyway. Let me just pull one of these out, and I am feeling, ooh, lavender is beautiful. First of all, let me show you a trick or two. They don't come with color on the top, but sometimes acrylic paint will separate in the tube. I don't want to squeeze it too much because then it would, launch out of here when I open it. But you can kind of shake it. If you ever notice the paint is leaking out like this, take the side of the tube and gently squeeze it on the sides, and it will somehow magically pull it back down in there. And then it's not going to come bubbling out the top, and you're not going to lose your precious paint. I learned that when I was dealing with all my Daniel Smith watercolors. Lost $10,000 worth of watercolors, what I felt like. So I'm going to put it back in there. And then I'm going to gently squeeze the sides again. And it's going to drop back down in there. Oh. So when I'm using tube paint, now if I'm going to use it for 25 minutes, I'm probably not going to leave the top off. But like, I love to just scoop it right off the top. And then I want to use it with just a layer that is thick, but this is like super creamy. This isn't even as thick as what comes in the paint pots with the kits. That is like super thick. This is just like, oh my God. So I can layer this up, and if I have extra on my brush, you know how normally you push it back in the paint pots? I am that OCD person who's so frugal that I will like put it on the top. And then tiny, gently. I don't want to squeeze the sides till they're dented in, but like I will squeeze it enough to make sure it goes back in there. Now then what I do is I take the excess and I'll paint it on that little point, and that's how I get that color. So I know if I'm going to store these in some kind of container, then I know what color each one is by glance. Yep, because I'm that person. Because I don't know how I'm going to store these once I get into my new studio. My new house. All right, so that is such beautiful creamy paint. Now I did layer it a little thicker because you can already see this swatch is fabulous, but you can see that it just has amazing texture to it. It's more of like a medium body to medium to heavy body, but it's just fabulous. Fabulous. All right. Now I'm going to swatch these, and I will come back in just a minute, and I'm going to let you know how these turned out and whether they are the same. These are different colors, I believe, than what I have in that other set. So I'm very curious to see how these turn out. So I will be back with another swatch. Let's take a look at the 12 paints that came with the Impressionist kit and the palette knife kit. And I'm going to say, wow. Now, some of them are duplicates, I'm sure, for the other 24-piece kit. But these are perfect for mixing because once we're done with the kit, we're going to have leftovers, I'm sure, and use for other paint by number kits or whatever we want to use them for. So I did apply a thicker layer than I did on the last swatch just to test to see how they look once they're dry with a little bit of texture and dimension. And as they're drying, which they seem to be doing fairly quickly, and it could be because it's about 75 degrees in this camper, regardless, it has a great dimension to it. I'm so in love with the idea that they're tubes and the fact that I have tested every brand on the market that is high dollar that I can't even explain to you why I'm so excited. So that is it for this video. It has been wonderful to be back with you today. Thank you guys as always for watching and for your loyalty over the last 6 years now. If you have not already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit that like button below, comment with something positive because negative comments will be blocked and mocked. Please share this video with others who you think might be interested in its content, and I will hopefully see you back soon.